JJ. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me, first and foremost. I left Dallas yesterday, I think it was, and it was a little bit warmer, about the same as here, but I am one of you. I think that's the big message today is I was sitting in your chairs in Anderson Community Schools. So like Miss Hoppus said, I may call her Missy, but Miss Hoppus, yeah. I was you, actually, and then I went on and graduated from Madison Heights a couple of years ago. I've done a lot with my career since then, and part of today is really to share some of my story with you. And I really want to empower you to know that we all grew up similarly, and then our paths can take different routes. Missy and I grew up in a household. There was a lot of difficulties, and we didn't know what our future was, but we really made it a point to try to do the best we can with the lives that we have. So that's kind of embedded into some of this, but I really wanted y'all to get to know a little bit about me. Okay. That's right, we all need each other.
We all need family.
That's right. So I touched on this a little bit. I did grow up in Anderson. My childhood, I went to Anderson schools. I was an athlete in high school, ran track and cross country quite a bit. Where we went to school, Missy and I didn't have a ton of support at the end of the day, right? So we kind of jumped in there and did the best we could with what we have. And that's okay. But I graduated from Madison Heights, went on to Purdue University, got my degree in civil engineering. Yes, ma'am.
Was Miss Hoppus rude to you when you were a kid?
Let's get to this first.
We'll get to some of the fun stuff. What?
You said that I was rude to you.
Probably. She's sibling, right? It's okay. So anyways, I graduated from high school here and then went to Purdue, got an engineering degree, and then ultimately moved to Texas, where I continue to reside today. So that's a little bit about kind of, me personally. Both of our parents lived here. Our mom worked at General Motors in the factories, and then our father was a sheet metal worker. So it's a little bit about kind of our background and the way that we grew up. After I graduated Purdue, I moved to Dallas-Fort Worth area. I worked on nuclear power plants for a number of years as a structural engineer. And then did a lot of Walmarts. Most of y'all probably shopped at Walmarts before. I probably did a lot of the structural engineering for a lot of those stores that you've been through. And then really we'll spend most of my time today is I'm extremely fortunate and blessed to be a future astronaut with Virgin Galactic. I'll be going to space in 2026 to 2027. Super excited about that. I get a little emotional about it, but that's part of my dream. So when I was middle school, 6th grade, I was very much into space and astronomy. Wasn't quite sure how to get there, but 30 years later, I'll be going up. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But one thing, that was my dream. My dream was to always go to space. So just think in your mind, what is it that you want to do, right? You don't have to write it down. You could just file it in your mind, because we'll touch on it at the end of the presentation, because it's important to have dreams, right? Does everybody have a dream, something they want to do? Yes. Is it something that you think you'll ever be able to do it? Do you truly believe you can do it? Yeah. Good. Okay, good. So don't give up on your dreams, because I'm here to tell you today that they will come true, right? Okay. So next slide, Missy. So yeah, I was a pirate, like I said. So this is me a couple of years ago, right? It's fun. It's okay to laugh. I have long legs.
And short shorts.
And short shorts. That's the way it was back then. One of the other things that I do is I feel very fortunate and blessed with my life and what's happened after I graduated from here. So the middle picture is me doing a podcast at Purdue University back in the fall.
Wait, what grade was this?
This here?
Yeah.
That was
Like
is high school probably, yeah, freshman.
So this school used to be like, you went to this school?
I did.
This was and are you a pirate?
Yeah, I'm a pirate, yeah.
Quiet.
How are you a pirate if you was in like 9th grade?
Okay.
You want to explain that?
Okay. Anderson did some restructuring, and they moved stuff around. So Madison Heights High School, which were the Pirates, is no more. Right now, Anderson High School, where you guys will go to high school, that is where Madison Heights used to be.
So that was my school.
Wait,
so this.
What is the old Anderson High School, like the big one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The wigwam. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was there. Okay.
Yeah.
My mom works at the high school.
Cool.
Cool. There you go.
Jaden?
Didn't the original Anderson High burn down?
No.
No, they just removed it.
Yep. Okay, it's going.
Okay. So this is me doing a podcast. I try to give back to the community as much as I can because I've been very blessed in my life, and I want to inspire others to do the things that they want to do. And then the picture on the right is with Virgin Galactic, the space company that I'm going to space with. I went out to their corporate headquarters back in the fall, and this is a mock-up of their new spaceship that they're building right now. They'll be assembling that in Mesa, Arizona in the fall of 25, and I'll be flying on one of those spaceships 26, 27. So it's kind of a neat picture from that adventure. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yep. Okay. Next slide, Missy. So STEAM, I think everybody knows what that is, right? Science, technology, engineering, arts, math. So we kind of broke this up into kind of space themed, right? Because that's really what my journey has been about. And how can STEAM impact your ability to pursue your dreams with respect to space? So science is like understanding the universe, right? What is it like? Astronomy, things like that. Technology is the tools and inventions, the rockets. You guys probably see like Elon Musk and SpaceX doing a lot of stuff, which is kind of cool. Engineering, you have rocket designers, the tools that they use up. There's a lot of things experiments that we'll do while we're in space. And then art is actually kind of cool. Our spacesuits are being manufactured and designed in Italy because they're very technical for what we have to do, but they also want to make them kind of like fun and cool. They call it space leisure, which is kind of a neat thing. So I'll be getting my spacesuit in the next year or so. And then math, right? It's a big part of what we do in terms of it's very complex on how we get to space and how we get back safely. So there's a lot of math and engineering that goes into that. So anyways, just a little bit about STEAM. Show you a little bit more about just engineering and what I do for a living. So we're going to watch a 2-minute video. It's about, let me set the context. So this is a school of medicine in Fort Worth, Texas, in the Dallas area. And the whole thing here is with Texas Christian University. This is where they teach doctors to become doctors. Dunaway's relationship with TCU goes back several decades, candidly. I think TCU, they really value Dunaway as a firm, and it's a true partnership.
It's a very unique project. TCU, they've mainly focused on development around their main campus in Fort Worth, and this was one of their first big staple projects and pieces outside of their campus.
The brand of TCU is so strong in the community. So we knew we wanted to bring some of that to the near south side. From concrete and steel to how can we design something structurally that will benefit the students. From an internal perspective, the staircase was really designed to be this open air staircase where you could create purposeful collision between staff and students, which I think is an amazing thing.
There were several challenges, schedule being one of them. We had a very tight timeline. But also at the same time with this large staple project, there are a lot of components of confidentiality. And so we had to navigate that very delicately while moving the project forward with the aggressive timeline.
Structural engineering, civil engineering, surveying, and planning and landscape architecture were the core, but I think even further deeper than that was liaisoning between TCU and the city of Fort Worth was a very instrumental part for this project to be delivered successfully.
From kickoff through design and construction administration, we were always in contact with the director of landscape and grounds. It's fun to all be around the table together, especially with the design partners, the architects, the MEP, and you really get a great end result when you've got that relationship there.
To be able to be a part of something that has such an impact to our local community is something that is important to us. And Dunaway as a firm, our culture is to give back to the communities that bless us with projects of this magnitude. I really think at the end of the day, that's what it's about. A little bit of context on this video. If you're interested in space and the journey that I'm kind of in on, this is just a quick 2-minute video about me and what's going on in my life with respect to space. So enjoy. to get to the point where now I get to come and just be a witness to what could be my future. It is something that I just can't quite put into words. It's driven to tears today on many occasions, went through several Kleenexes. Just the idea of the possibility that that could be me one day, and I really believe that it will be. I am, I believe, the first next generation astronaut that converted and was afforded the opportunity to come over to the future astronaut community. It's been phenomenal.
The team has always included me in everything. You know, it's Jason and Edna, and I love that. He's the one that's going to space, but I love that I get to be a part of it too and continue to build that community and those relationships with the people here.
So what I look forward to most is continuing to deepen the relationships of those that I've met. And I think people are, building enormous bonds with one another. So it's not just what you're doing today, it's not just going up, it's the adventure and the journey going from today through flight and then post-flight for the rest of your life. So the little boy that grew up in Indiana that finally got to go to space camp at 16, 17-year-old, 30 years later to get the opportunity to pursue my dreams and passions. I want to share that experience with others that just don't give up. No matter where you come from, the chance is always there.
I'm just so proud of him. I just look forward to seeing his dreams come true and really look forward to experiencing that with him. And as far as the Virgin Galactic team, I'm just so thankful for everything that they've done up until this point. We're just blessed to be able to do this.
I will probably be the biggest cheerleader and ambassador with that group, knowing what lies before them. And I've just gotten to see just a tiny bit of, I think, what my future holds. So I can't wait to share the experiences with them and encourage them to pursue and fulfill their dreams and know there's much, much more beyond Next Gen that they can see in the FA community. Cool, huh? Yeah, so we kind of touched on it, but I'd asked y'all to kind of think about your dream and what you want. Yes, ma'am.
How would you get a hold of your family when you're up in space?
You don't. Not for my mission. Yeah.
We will all be there, and we will be watching him.
Yeah.
Yes. Are we good?
Yes, ma'am.
Are there going to be any things that NASA, has NASA ever discovered things that they can't tell the public?
I'm sending you guys out of here.
How do I answer that? Yes.
I didn't hear you say.
Yes, sir.
So, do you ever get bored in space?
I haven't been yet.
Have you asked anybody that has?
I have. Yeah, generally I would say the answer is no. There's a lot of training that goes into it before I go. So one of the things is learning how to feel weightlessness, right? Because that could really disrupt how you feel. So before I go up, I'll spend some time in zero gravity to make sure my body can adapt to it. And then I'll also work in a centrifuge, which you experience what the G-forces are on your body, so that by the time I do get up into space, I'll know a little bit more about how my body's going to react to it, so that I don't get bored, right? Yeah.
Are you going to be sharing government secrets?
I'm sorry?
Are you going to be sharing government secrets? Or?
No, I can't. No, there were not any secrets that I can talk about, right? So, but I'm sure there are some. Good question.
This is unfair.
Yeah.
Life's unfair.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is a part of Chase's question from earlier, but I'm also scared of heights, and we went to Kings Island, and you know the big drop tower in Kings Island?
I think so. Yeah. We went to.
I know it.
Yeah.
So my dad made me go on it, and we were almost at the top. We were still going up, and my dad told me to look down, and I saw my Nemo, but we were really high up.
Yeah.
And then we got to the top, and my dad's like 3, 2, 1 for it to drop. And then after he said 1, it drops a couple seconds later.
Mm-hmm. How did you feel? Were you good? You okay with it?
I was very scared.
Yeah. But when you were done, would you do it again?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. That's good. Perfect.
Emmett,
Did you have any other dreams other than you already have
I did, yeah, good question. So I wanted to be a pilot, believe it or not. I also wanted to be a garbage man. This is a very true story. I really wanted to be the guy that rode on the back of the garbage truck and picked up trash every day. That was kind of a dream of mine.
That was his dream, guys.
Yeah.
And they would let him ride on the back of the garbage truck.
Yeah, so that's kind of where it started. But so I want to be a pilot, but one of the things with being a pilot is you have to be able to see color. And one thing I haven't told you is I'm colorblind. So that dream was not a reality for me, right? So I can't see reds, greens, blues, browns, and purples. So I couldn't fulfill that dream, and so I had to kind of go a different direction. And that's what's pretty amazing about the fact that I still get to go to space, even though I'll probably want to be the first colorblind people in space. So I'm working on what can I do to learn while I'm up there to maybe help other people out that are colorblind. So yeah, good question.
Petrel?
Y'all found a planet that humanity could possibly live on there?
Well, I think you see it all the time. I think there's a lot of people that are curious about Mars, right? You see that a lot. A lot of people think that Mars has a similar atmosphere to Earth, but it's so far away, they're still trying to explore it.
Have
Nope.
you seen any other planets?
Not just through a telescope, just like you, I have not.
Alex?
There are colorblind glasses.
There are, yeah, that's a great idea or great comment. I've tried them, but my experience is this, like I put them on and I can see color, but I can't live in them all the time, right? So you take them off and then your world goes back to what I see. And so I've chosen just to continue to live my life without them because it's hard to go back and forth, to be honest with you. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So, what do you see if you can't see?
Color? I see color, but I can't distinguish it. So the best way I talk about it is like sometimes people say I want a soda or like a Coke, but it can mean a Dr. Pepper or Big Red, but Coke is kind of like the drink. So like for me, I'll say I see blue, but it could be purple, it could be blue, it could be, I don't know, lavender, I don't know what y'all see, but does that make sense? Like I still see color, but I can't tell what it is. So don't drive with me because I don't know if the light is red or green. You just memorize them.
What color do you see as this chair?
That would go in that blue family, right? For me, like it's bluish, but I don't know what color it is.
It's blue.
Blue. Okay, that's good.
Okay.
All right.
Let's get back
It's
on track.
light color. That's great.
Okay.
All right, we just have a couple more slides here, I think. Okay, so we talked about this a little bit, but for those of you that are interested in this maybe journey in STEAM or STEM is what can you do, right? So for me as a young student, I was very much into like Legos and building things and just learning. And that's kind of what I did. So yeah, building models, coding, astronomy. There's a lot of clubs, especially online. There's a lot of tools online to learn about a lot of different things with YouTube and whatnot about space exploration or really just whatever your passions are. You can think about your careers. I wanted to be a garbage man, but I ended up being an engineer instead. So my career path was a little different. And there's a ton of space-related fields out there that you don't have to go to college for. So we'll talk about that, I think, on the next slide, Missy. I think we're getting close. Okay, so how do you get there, right? My path was through Anderson. I was a pirate. I went to Purdue, studied engineering. I've been in my career now for about almost 30 years as an engineer. But there's other ways to do it, right? Not everyone has to go to college. I think that's an important point. There's trade schools, there's factories, there's research. I mean, you can go to a 2-year school or 4-year school, but you don't have to go to college to do these things, right? So there's a lot of opportunities outside of a 4-year university. Like, for example, Virgin Galactic, they just opened up a new assembly plant in Arizona. We're going to start putting the spaceship together that I'm going to fly on. So there's just a lot of cool opportunities out there. Yes, ma'am.
So the people assembling, that would be considered like STEM because, I mean, are they measuring stuff?
Yeah.
Or
It's
okay.
all hand assembly at this point, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, these spaceships are still handmade. They're not like a production car.
So it's definitely a STEM
Yeah.
position.
For sure.